Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak, and I have this weird hair thing going on all of a sudden. Sorry about that.
I'm
Uh,
sure people don't watch it. You're
People are on YouTube. They have the tubes. They understand. The kids call it tubes these days. They have the tubes.
what
There's
kids?
kids out there in the new generation. The what are they called? The Z generation. The Z generation.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's what they're calling it, right? The Z generation. Anyway, they're on the tubes and they watch me and they're like, "Hey, what's wrong with his hair?" I got my hair fixed.
Oh, okay,
Does that look
good.
good?
That's good to know.
Does that look good?
Yep.
See, you're off camera. You can look however you
There you
want,
go.
and
That's
I'm on
exactly.
camera because I like to put myself out there for you people. I like to go the extra effort. I like to try a little harder. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about effort. It's
We'll go with that.
listen. If something happens to me, I want there to be like a eulogy that says he tried. Just that's all. Just he tried. Oh,
Okay.
bless his heart. He tried.
Bless his heart.
Oh, did he make mistakes? Absolutely. Does he make mistakes all the time? Yeah. Did he learn from them? Sometimes. But he tried. Oh, it's that college effort, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, how's everybody doing? We are getting forward. We are looking forward. So that's what did I just say?
I have no
That's a
idea.
weird combination of
You might
words.
want to start all over.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak. Let's start back over. Halloween's just around the corner. Where are you going to be for Halloween?
Me?
Yeah.
Nothing. A bitch. I got that. I can nail that one.
I still have my Elvis glasses. Could I be Elvis? Thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't think we're doing anything for Halloween.
No, we
I
could
don't
we,
think so.
we could do a Halloween podcast.
Yeah,
I could wear these glasses, and you got glasses too, I think, or something. I don't know. We could do something. Anyway,
I don't even know when Halloween is.
it's on the 31st, like always.
Yes, I know that. It is 2 weeks from this Thursday.
So what do you do for a Thursday? Like if you're a parent, you got kids, and you want to take your kids trick or treating. Do you go on Thursday, or do you go
Yes.
in November?
November.
Because it's the weekend,
No, I don't think so.
or
I
do you
think
go the weekend before?
when did all that crap start? When I was a kid, we trick or treated on trick or treat
Yeah,
on Halloween
because there was a
night.
deadline, buddy. It is Halloween. You go get your candy now because that's it. Like
Hmm.
that's it. And then they're like, no, because it's like a Sunday. We'll do it on like a Saturday.
Yeah, I don't get
Oh
that.
no, it's on a Tuesday. They can't go be out on a Tuesday. You got school the next day. We're gonna do it on that Saturday or that Friday. We'll do Friday. We'll do both. And I'm like, it's both.
There needs to be a cutoff time period. I mean, if you do it on a weekend, then how long are you supposed to allow trick or treaters up to your hut? I don't know. I don't know how all that works.
Or do we just darken the house and say, we don't celebrate trick or treat?
Well, when we first moved into this neighborhood 17 years ago,
There was nobody in the
there
neighborhood.
was nobody in the
Just
neighborhood.
us and one
I
other
want to
family.
say, yeah,
And that was the preacher and his wife, and they didn't trick or treat.
the first few years we had a trick or less than five. That was probably the first 7, 8 years we lived here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just recently in the last 3 or 4 years that
Well,
we've actually had trick or treaters.
our neighborhood's grown.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But then, like, it's if you give out good candy, it says one of those things we got to hit this neighborhood because they give out great candy. We know
Yeah.
people in those neighborhoods that get the great candy.
Well, I mean, I think it's easier if you go to an. I mean, our houses are not right on top of each other, but we're not. It's not like we're spread out. There's definitely neighborhoods where the houses are closer together, so that the kids, I mean, you don't have quite as far to walk in between each home.
Yeah.
Foxcroft is I mean, that is a neighborhood that really goes all out for Halloween for the trick or treaters.
Yeah.
Also, too, though, I'm not a firm believer in the amount of people that will come from other places and just let a whole truckload of them out at one time.
That's how you get the candy.
I guess.
Also, is candy a scarcity nowadays? I mean, I kind of feel like we can get candy anytime. Like, I'll give you an example. This, to me, just follow me. This correlates with like Saturday morning cartoons. When we were kids, you might look forward to Saturday morning to watch cartoons. You're like, oh, we get to watch some cartoons.
It's the only time they came on.
Right. And then when they came on all the time, it was like, you want to watch cartoons? Like, I mean, because
Yeah.
you watch them all the time, right?
Yeah.
And then the same thing with candy. Like, candy was not something that you had access to ever because your parents just They're not. I'm not going to waste money on candy.
No, I just think you see it different because we're adults.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean, I can see
but we were kids once.
yes, but we have an 8 year old grandson that absolutely it looks forward to trick or treat. Look, yeah, he looks forward to it.
Yeah,
I mean, it is part of. I mean, kids still do it, and kids still look forward to it. For the candy, I'm not really sure if it's for the candy as much as it is the whole
tradition.
tradition. No, well, the dressing up, getting to pick your costume, those kind of things. Maybe that means more to him than the actual candy itself. I'm not really sure.
I mean, granted, it would be cool if we were the kind of family that's like arts and craftsy, and they're like, hey, let's dress up like a whole family of the Wizard of Oz, and maybe like everybody got involved and that sort of thing. But I mean, we've never done that.
No.
But I mean, there are families that do that, and it's kind of cool when they do it. I just don't
Yeah.
have that. I'm not wired to enjoy that.
Well, we're not at that stage in our life anymore. We do go, we've been to several Halloween parties
Yeah,
in the last 5 years where we had never, well, probably even longer than that.
but
But
it was also a thing where I told myself, fake it till you make it. Like just do the thing and enjoy it, kind of thing. But it all of it's outside of my comfort zone. Like it really is.
I just always worry about how much or how little candy to buy. I
Yeah,
mean, our neighborhood has grown. We
yeah.
were not here last year. For some reason, we did something else. It was a couple of years that we went to I can't remember if we were actually at a party or we had something going on last year for sure that we did not have a light on or anything. I think a couple of years prior to that, we passed out candy.
I think I worked. I had to work
I
that
can't
night or
remember.
something. I don't
I
know.
can't remember all. So I'm not really sure now. I listen to a podcast, a weekly podcast for it's
What? Who listens to
yeah,
podcasts?
they listen, they don't watch them.
It's on
And
YouTube, guys.
the guy lives, well, he lives in New York, but he also lives in Celebration, Florida, which is just right outside the gates of Disney World in a community. I'm not sure what it's called. It has a name, but I can't remember what it is. But they have so many trick or treaters that he says that he spends close to $2,000
Nope.
on candy.
Nope.
And he orders it, a lot of it he orders from Amazon and he has it shipped up north to his home up there because he don't have to worry about stuff melting in the in the heat and then he when he drives down to Celebration he
He's
always
trafficking candy.
he always makes it a point to be him and his wife always make it a point to be in Celebration for Halloween.
They're muling candy to Florida.
He just goes
Sir,
on and on about how
what are you
fantastic it
trafficking?
is.
Step out of the vehicle. The
But
dog's
now
going nuts.
I think also too he gives out full size candy bars.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, so that's where the money's coming in, but it's something that he thoroughly enjoys doing and he apparently plans for it all year. So, I mean, I was completely,
When was the last time you had a full candy bar?
oh gosh, I couldn't tell you. And even if I had a full candy bar, I would never eat it all in one setting.
I can tell you when I had one. It was probably 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That early, that soon.
Well, I mean, but also before that, I couldn't tell you a time before that. Like it was just one of those things where I was helping somebody do something and they had a bunch of candy and I was feeling sluggish. It wasn't quite like lunchtime or something at work. And they were like, hey, you want a Snickers? And I was like,
That's
well, I haven't had a Snickers in forever. Sure. I mean, but like to buy a candy bar,
who walks around with full size candy bars all the time.
I work at a food company. Okay. They just happen to have some in the
Well, I
break room
guess.
just in case or whatever. But also,
Yeah.
like, I felt a little peckish. And, the commercial, need a Snickers? Snickers,
Yeah.
the commercial works. It does work. I
I
needed a
could
little
not
pick me
tell
up, and
you
it helped.
when the last time I don't years. And
But
like
I
I said,
think
I don't know if somebody handed me a full size candy bar, I would not eat it all in one sitting.
I think the last time I bought one though was probably in the mountains when I went with the guys off roading in Windrock. Just because we hadn't eaten anything and we needed something quick to kind of make it till we got to dinner.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very rare to like buy a candy bar. But I remember being a kid and just being fascinated by, hey, can we get candy? And they're like, no, we can't get a candy. No, we don't have money for that. Come on.
Oh yeah, I can
scratch off
remember
lottery
that
tickets."
too.
Or
I
something
can
like
also
that.
remember when you used to take a nickel and get several pieces of candy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then not a candy bar, but you could get several pieces of candy.
Like sweet candy or that tart stuff.
Or the little caramel chews that's got the little cream center. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, those things were so good. I think they're
And
called
now
cowtails or something like
Now
that.
you can't even hardly find those things.
No, no, and they are expensive. I did the whole candy dish at work thing for a long time. I'm sure you remember that really well. And I was
Yes.
spending close to what, $100 or $150 a
As your
month.
personal shopper, I was very against it.
I ordered a lot of it on Amazon, that 5 pounds at a time. But I quit with it because I don't know. People were coming to my desk and picking through the candy dish and telling me what they.
You need to get this.
Yes,
You
yes.
need to get this. And
So
you're
when I-
thinking, no,
Well,
I'm
when
going
I
to not get
whenever
anything.
when I started paying attention to that, I was like, you know what? This is just not what I
Yep.
meant for it to be.
Yep.
And I have not done candy in probably a year at my desk, and people will still walk up occasion. Some of the guys will come out of the mill and walk up to my desk and say, Miss D, you got any candy? Nope, hadn't had any candy in a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that can get expensive.
Yeah. When we used to do driver check-in, we had to do cash at the end of the day, turn in checks and cash. There was a lady that worked in the window, and she would have little bowls of stuff. And you'd hear guys, complaining about, why ain't you got any Reese's? Why ain't you got any? And she was like, it's free to take it and say thank you.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with you? And she would always offer me something, and I was like, and that's when I was trying to get away from sweets and sugars and stuff. And she was like, "Here, take something." I was like, I'm cutting back on sugar and stuff." And she was like, "Oh, okay." But I mean, she was always like, "You can have it." And I was like, "No, it's okay." But it was a nice thing. But also, people tend to take advantage of that kind of thing.
Yes.
And I kind of wonder about that when, like, the guy who has the full size candy bars, does he go and give them stuff, and then they go, "What? You don't give any of these?"
Now that
I mean,
part
that's
I don't
got to be
know.
such a pain in the butt when you're trying to be nice and trying to do the right thing.
And people
then
are unappreciative.
people are appreciative.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's wrong with people? So sometimes it's nice to just say thank you
And move on.
Or if you can't afford all that $2,000 worth of candy to give away, you just turn your lights off and go, no, we're not doing that. Or go out of
Well,
town.
I mean, I'm not buying $2,000 worth of candy. If we're home and we turn the lights on, I mean, I'll probably get candy from Sam's.
Yeah.
But can't get it too soon though, because I don't want it near the house too early.
Does someone get up in the middle of the night
Yes.
and snack?
Yeah.
Is someone not me that
Yeah.
does that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm guilty of waking up in the morning and having my yogurt, my coffee, and then sitting there for a while and going, I feel kind of snacky. And if there was something in here, I'd go in there and
Yeah.
I would murder some chocolate.
Yeah, like
I
that
just
300 piece, bag that you buy from Sam's. By the time it's time for Halloween, it'd be down to, I don't know, 156 or something like that.
Especially when they wrap up those tiny little Kit Kats, and you're like, am I going to eat just one of those? Those are like the size of my pinky finger, and I can want more than one, And then before you know it, there's 10 wrappers, and you're like, who ate all those?
Yeah.
Oh, it was me. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Did you ever hear that they recycle Kit Kats by just putting it back in the next Kit Kats?
No.
I heard that all they do is just when they're out of date or whatever, they get turned in and they just get thrown into the mix to make more Kit Kats.
I find that hard to believe.
I don't know if that's true. That could be stuff I heard.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the name of the podcast. How about that? So yeah.
Stuff you heard, crap you heard.
Stuff you heard.
There you go.
So we had the Aurora Borealis visible here in North America last week sometime. Everybody
Is that
was
when the
posting
sky
photos.
was so pink one
People
evening?
were posting photos of the pinks and purples and ooh, look, it's so pretty. We talked about making a trip to go see Aurora Borealis.
I do want to one day.
Yeah, we didn't even walk outside to go. Look, there it is.
Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't really.
It was right here in our house.
Whenever I saw it that evening and the sky looked so pink, I did not know that that's what it was. I mean, we have sometimes whenever the sun sets and the cloud, especially during the fall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had no idea that's what it was. After that, I can't remember if I did see on Facebook where people posted, seeing the Northern Lights and that kind of stuff.
Everybody's got the Nickelback photo of, look at this photograph. And it's the photo of.
But now I do,
sky.
I mean, I would love to see the Northern Lights, the ones that actually, looks like the sky is actually moving or the lights are dancing.
Yeah.
But now I've also done some research on that, and you don't see that here.
No, and also it's hard to determine when you're going to see it.
Right.
There are places where it's likely.
Yeah, and the
but you
places that
could
I've read
also-
that's more likely is like Norway,
parts of Canada.
Sweden, and you really, and like I said, I did a little bit of research. This is not whenever this happened last week, but actually a friend of mine, we were talking about it, and it's like that's one of the things that I would like, she and I both were saying that's one of the things we would like to do is actually see the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
And I did a little bit of research. Like I say, the top places that come up was Norway, Sweden, the places that's going to be expensive to
Canada
fly.
Now,
but you need to be you have to stay somewhere very remote,
very quiet, very dark, away from people.
Yes. And it did say that, when you get to those, and I did see that there are places that you can rent, like VRBOs actually, but it is out in the middle of nowhere, no cell phone service, a lot of different, and sometimes it doesn't necessarily
happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. You just went to bed.
So that would be a very big gamble to base a whole trip
on.
That's
a lot of money to kind of roll the dice on.
Yep, I agree.
I saw where some people were like setting up cameras and posting online. When we were doing the research, it became part of my algorithm. And they're like, "Hey, you're interested in Northern Lights?" I'm like, "I guess so." Here's a whole bunch of videos about them. I'm like, okay. And I kept seeing videos of guys like staging their cameras up. I say guys, people, whatever. Setting up their cameras to film like overnight. And then one guy posted, he's like, "I caught these one night, but I was here for 2 weeks."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What? 2 weeks?" He's like, "I also caught these, but it wasn't as good." But he's like, "This one night turned out really great." And I'm sure it has all to do with solar flares and how they hit the Earth and in what angle and that sort of thing. And there's a lot.
I'm not really sure a trip like that will happen until both of us are retired and there's no time restraint.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because like I say, I would hate to base a whole trip on something like that.
Yeah.
And then be disappointed because you didn't actually get to see it. So
I did see it once when I was a kid. I was been 15 or 16. I was visiting my dad in Maine. And it was like June it was June. And sun was going down. I looked up and I was like, "Dad, what's going on with the lights?" And he's like, "What?" I was like, "What's going on with the lights?" And he's like, "That's Aurora Borealis." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I'm sure that living up there as long as he did, and I've seen where it's definitely visible from up there. But like I say, I don't know, something I would like to do, something I wish I would have known more about whenever it happened last week. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. So I took your recommendation. You were talking about something that you saw on Netflix and a book that you read called A Perfect Couple. And I watched it and I was amazed. I was really impressed with the fact that I didn't know who done it until the very end.
And see, I found that shocking because you normally...
But you already read the book.
No. I knew that. I asked you multiple times because it was 6 episodes. While you were watching it, I think I might have asked you a couple times, have you figured out who's done it? Because I want to say maybe you were like 4 episodes in, or you were
only on 6 episodes.
Yeah, you were on the 4th episode, and I was like, have you figured out who done it? Because normally you can figure out that most of the time. And I asked you then, and you said no. And then I want to say I'm not sure because you watched it over the course of a little bit of time, right? I mean,
yeah.
So the next time I was like, "Are you done with it yet?" And you said no. And I was like, "Have you figured out who done it?" And you said no. And you said you didn't figure it out until the very end.
Yeah, I was
until they were revealed.
Well, they did such a good job of like misleading you as to why it would be someone or someone else, which I mean is what you want. You want to be surprised. You want the ending to be like, "Oh my goodness, I never saw that." I mean, so yeah, they did a really good job of misdirection and making you think it could be this person or that person or coincidence or any number of things of what could have happened, and you don't know until the end. And it was done really well. I was impressed with everybody's acting.
Yes, everybody's acting was great.
Like even the people that were supposed to be unlikable.
Yeah,
I was like, these are like normal people that are being like this. I mean,
But now I did make a comment before you watched it. It was, the book was totally different. They did a lot more with the series than the book. Maybe it was just what loosely based on the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought they did a great job.
I think they do that so they can pay them less money.
Maybe.
mean,
I
like,
don't think that book would have been 6 episodes for one thing.
well, there's a lot of books that I've read that I've watched the movie and I go, it's kind of like it.
Well, I mean, you're trying to pack an awful lot
Yeah.
into 2 hour movie, or
Well, you're also trying to pack a lot into a book. I mean, you think about you're reading a book and you're getting the whole information, including their thoughts.
yeah, but there is no rush on that.
Yeah,
An
I guess.
author doesn't care. I mean, it doesn't make any difference if the book is 200 pages or 300 pages. I mean, there is uh, I mean, I
There's
guess
a
maybe.
limit.
Well, I mean, I'm
They
sure they
can't just
probably
be rolling out
paid.
2,000-page books because people are going to be like, no, I'm out.
I guess I don't know. I've read Gone with the Wind, so
How many pages was that?
well over 1,000.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was bigger than the Harry Potter books. I loved it. It was great,
That's awful. That
fantastic.
sounds awful.
And then when they did the movie, remember the movie was very long. There was an intermission when that
Yeah,
movie was released at the theaters.
I have somehow avoided reading or watching all of it.
It's great.
So there's that thing to be thankful for.
I mean, I've read a lot of good books, but that one is at the top of my list. Always will be. I don't know that anything can ever beat that.
Okay.
It was good.
Okay.
You should read it.
No,
You should watch the movie.
never.
As much as you watch movies, you
Never,
should watch the
never,
movie.
never. I remember watching it while my mom was watching it a few times, and I was like, "This is so boring."
No, it's not. It's great. It's great history.
If you're a young lady, you know, hey, that might be your thing.
Maybe.
She was a starlet, you know, whatever.
Okay, so what else have you watched?
I watched this crazy movie. It's called
No way.
It's called It's What's Inside. It came out this past week, and they were advertising it as a guy comes to visit after college. They're all getting back together because two of them are getting married, and they're going to have just a party. And as he shows up, they're all talking about, I wonder if he's coming. I wonder if he's coming. Because he always brings these cool games that we play. We played all these games together in college. And then they kind of hint at a falling out at a party. And you're like, okay, well, whatever. And then the guy shows up and he was like, they're, kind of teasing him, hey, did you bring any games? Because we love the games you come up with. And he was like, well, I do have this one thing. And he pulls out a suitcase. And he opens up the suitcase and it's a bunch of electronic stuff. And he's like, we hook these up and then I flip a switch and then we change bodies. Like our minds are now in the other bodies. And they're like, what? And then he's like, but I can switch us back. Like, it's not a big deal. We've been working on this at this place I work for. And it's totally safe. We just got to we could play a game where we switch bodies and just see how we like it. And then after a few minutes, we can switch back. So they kind of did that. And in the meanwhile, they were like, we'll guess who the person is without saying it. And one by one, they tried to guess who they were. And it was kind of cute. And as I'm watching this, I'm thinking, man, this would be a great Twilight Zone. I bet this is a Twilight Zone. I bet there is an episode out there of like Alfred Hitchcock or something like that. This could be done as a play. This was crazy the way this was done because all the actors had to then act like the other person with their mannerisms and the things they say and how they say them and act out. And I was like, holy crap.
But I'm sure there was a twist.
Sure, there's a twist because, not to spoil it, but things don't go as planned. They do a second round, and two of them are being mischievous, and they die. And so suddenly there's people stuck in the wrong bodies, and it's like, whoa. I mean, not to give anything away.
I mean, was it good or was
it was really good?
Okay.
I read the reviews online. People were like, "What the crap did I just watch?" And I was like, I kind of liked it, but also I was like, yeah, the way they did it, they did a lot of like special effects where it wasn't necessary. But I was like, this is a really well thought out thing. And if they did it as a book, it would be cool. But the act outs is what really sells you because they act like each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part I was impressed with because they jump bodies multiple times. So it was probably my win for the week. Well, okay, The Perfect Couple was better. The Perfect Couple was better. It was better. It was a show. I mean, so it's like a 5-hour movie, basically. They're about 45-minute episodes, 6 episodes long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
That's all you got?
Well, I mean, I don't want to brag, but somebody got to spend a lot of time with our grandson.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did get to babysit for a little while, right?
Yeah, little man.
Right by yourself. How'd that go?
Oh, it was great. We watched Mickey's Clubhouse a lot. and we got to eat some fun baby food. And at a certain point, I realized that I don't know all of the utensils that they use now because one of them looks like a pacifier, but it's got purple stuff inside of it.
It doesn't have purple stuff. It has whatever kind of fruit you
I
put
know
in
that
it.
now. So I was wearing the shirt that I'm wearing now on the YouTubes. If you're watching the tubes, as they call it, the kids are calling it that. Anyway, I was wearing this shirt and I'm giving it to him and he's eating the little fruit and I'm thinking he's teething, he's just chewing on it, whatever. I go to give him some food and at a certain point I look down and I've got this purple stuff all over my shirt. And I look at him, he's got purple all over him and I'm like, how did the purple get out of the thing? And I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's set up so you can stuff stuff inside and they can chew on it and get it
Yeah.
out. And I was like, well, crap. Now I got purple stuff on me.
Was it blueberries or blackberries?
It was blueberries.
Okay.
So anyway,
He loves that little thing.
he does. And there was some avocados and some, I think it was mango and oatmeal kind of mixture. And
Mhm.
he ate everything. And at the end, I held the plate up. I was like, look, it's all gone. He was like, ha ha. Like he was like super excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had a good time. I hadn't had a lot of one-on-one time, so this was kind of cool.
Yeah, I do believe it was your first, right?
Yep. And he kept looking at me funny because I trimmed my beard. And every time he's seen me, I've had my beard full. But
Well, he's also 5.5 months old.
Sure.
He probably doesn't remember.
but he's paying more attention. You could tell he's paying more attention.
most
'cause he's
definitely,
like
yeah.
studying you and he's looking you over and like his eyes are moving all around and studying your eyes and your face and like I guess trying to remember you in a way.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. And he had a good time and we watched lots of Mickey's Clubhouse and I sang lots of Mickey's Clubhouse and oh Toodles and he was like hee hee.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad you had a good time.
So we had a good time
That was
bonding.
Friday, right?
It
Yeah,
was.
that was Friday.
It was. Yep. And then I spent the next 2 days working.
Yeah. You've been a little busy this weekend.
Yeah. So
But we've also got, let's see, if we got anything next weekend, we've got your work thing coming up.
Yep.
Going to be at the beach for just overnight for that. And we
Yep.
got a vacation coming up soon. Holidays will be here. I mean, as soon
Well,
as
as soon as we can count it down. I saw a thing online that says the countdown is kind of like waiting for Christmas for adults
for your vacation.
for your Disney vacation. Yeah.
Very true. We have 56 days.
Hee.
But as soon, I mean, it won't be. We'll be putting up Christmas decorations soon. I mean, once the holidays, once Halloween's over, it just seems to time goes even faster.
I gotta check my calendar, see what I'm busy doing. I'm just kidding. Of course, I'm helping you.
We've got to I've got to start buying Christmas presents.
Mm.
It'll be here before we know it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But other than that, I've started to do a little bit more digging into some things I want to do at Disney this time.
Yeah.
Started working on that a little bit with the travel agent.
Cool.
But so far, everything's
I'm glad you're my travel agent.
pretty much planned.
Had some pretty cool travels with you.
Just gotta keep working until it gets here.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up.
Okay,
You good?
I'm good.
You got anything you want to promote?
I'm trying to think. No, I don't think so.
They're supposed to say that when you have podcasts. What do you want to promote? So anyway, go read Gone with the Wind. Is basically 1,000 pages. Go read Gone with the Wind and then watch The Perfect Couple. So yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Remember, cue the cow.
Cue the cow. Moo, baby.